Hey guys, I have been asked to do Nessie, Loch Ness Monster. I don't know how well you're going to see the cards here because it's quite bright outside of here, but I will hold them up, okay? So Loch Ness Monster, is it real? Is it just rumours? Is it fakes? It's pretty much all three, to be honest. Definitely fakes for sure, definitely fakes for sure. And it's almost like, it's a bit like mediumship and psychics, to be honest. You do get fakes, but you do have people that are generally skilled and can connect. And the fakes outweigh the good, if that makes sense. And it's a bit like the Loch Ness Monster. There's something there, but it's like all the fakes that have come through and all the photos that have been proved, you know, to be fake has almost had a detrimental effect, you know, on people's belief of it, on it. But I will say detrimental, not really so much for this creature. I did. Do you know what? This is insane, guys. I just heard mammal, some kind of mammal there. Some kind of mammal dying off, though, dying off. And I just heard as well, last of its kind. So I'm not even sure if it's actually still there anymore, seriously, because I heard moved on, moved on. Also, there's some kind of underwater system as well. I'm seeing like these underwater kind of caves that could lead to other lochs. And I feel it's almost like there's something to do with the lake. It's some kind of, you know, you get different kind of mosses and weeds and things that can take over the lake. There's something to do with the water that has changed over the years, which wouldn't make this creature be able to sustain life there anymore. And that's why I feel a lot have died off, but there was definitely something there. And I do feel it was more to do with, related to dinosaurs, actually. I can't remember the name of the actual dinosaur. I wish I'd bloody wrote it down. Let me just have a look. Is there truth to this? Is there truth to this? And when I say, you know, fakes and things like that can be detrimental, what I meant is it's good for the Loch Ness, as you want to say, because people aren't really believing it like they were. They like the story, they like to go up to visit for the tourist aspect, but it's almost saved it from being too intrusive. Because there was a period where it was overrun, and I feel like there were even around the lake, there were so many visitors at one point it actually was disturbing the wildlife, and I hear tremors, almost like the water tremors and the movement. So it didn't come up for ages. It's almost like this is an area to avoid. It's almost like that was a specific feeding ground for it. And once all the tourists came on board, and it was, I'm hearing mass sightings. I haven't seen this in the news yet, I'll have to look up after. I see these boats, people rowing these boats out, but the lake's like covered in boats and people are searching for it. And and since then, it's almost like, okay, we're not going to feed here because it's not safe ground. Let's just see. Sorry if I'm not making a lot of sense today, guys. I'm having a bit of a migraine on and off day today, a bit of brain fog. Right. Does it exist? Does it exist? Does it exist? Does it exist? Does Nessie exist? Does Nessie exist? Does Nessie exist? Okay, this is... Okay, what I'm seeing the cards as, okay, we have the Page of Swords and the Five of Pentacles, and it's pretty much, and the Seven of Cups especially, pretty much the energy I was picking up is in, it's almost like it had to move on. It had to move on. It couldn't stay where it was. It was delaying people from seeing it. Okay, that's why you may only have a sighting every 10 years, 20 years, because a lot of these have been discounted. A lot of these have been fake as well, okay? I don't feel there's actually been a real sighting, maybe 80 years, honestly. A real one that you've heard of in the paper, by the way. There has been one or two real ones, maybe one, but a lot of them have been fake, okay? Page of Swords is it delaying, showing itself. Its energy is moving away from people. Its energy has moved away from that area long ago, I feel. I feel long ago, maybe 40 years. It's not really there now. It's moved on. I do feel there was more than one, but I feel they've passed as well. And if there is one now, it's almost like that energy of being on its last legs. I don't feel there's more. I feel there's one. So it's almost like delayed. It wants to be delayed. Look. patience, massive delays. This is massive delays in actually seeing it again. This is its energy moving away, turning its back on us, moving away. Restricted feeding zone, I hear. It doesn't want to feed there anymore because of all the activity. It will come back for certain periods, but it's almost like, you know, they say people have said it's fifth dimensional and only certain people can see it. There is an aspect to that. I feel it's extremely intuitive, sensitive, and it just has almost like a sixth sense of whether to feed there or not. And it's just been avoiding it. I hear no go zone, no go zone, no go zone, and a lot for ages. I keep hearing 40 years. So something happened back then. It hasn't gone back forever, basically. And then again, we have the Seven of Cups energy, which for me, again, is looking at other options. And when I mean other options, I keep hearing feeding grounds. It's moving on. Delays in seeing it because it doesn't want to be seen in that area. It doesn't want to feed in that area. This is it moving away. And then the Seven of Cups is looking for new feeding grounds, which has not sustained it. It has not sustained it. The place it moved to, I feel, was not as deep as the loch itself. And there's something to do with the water in the loch. I don't know if the temperature's raised over the last few years, but it's something to do with its habitat that's no longer sustainable. But I do feel there were maybe two and a baby at one point, a really small one. But I feel there's only one now, and I keep feeling it's on its way out. Now, guys, you're going to laugh so hard at this because this is such a weird image to get. Do you remember in the film E.T.? When E.T. was dying and he turned all white and he was fading away, it's almost like that kind of energy. And I'm seeing the colour of it was like, the skin looks a bit like, it reminds me of a bit like, almost like squidgy dolphin, like a slate grey, and it's changing colour more to white. If it's still here, I feel it's almost like, because if it's fifth dimensional, it can move between dimensions. It's almost like on its way out. Okay. I just don't feel it's going to be around for much longer. If it hasn't moved on to something completely different, honestly, like almost like passing over a different dimension. I just don't feel physically it's around anymore. And I feel the people that could see it are open to seeing it. Same as Bigfoot. They say Bigfoot could be fifth, sixth dimensional being, for example. It's just an example. So people that are in tune are able to see that are more likely to see it than somebody that has no belief in it at all. They're a completely different dimension and frequency from the actual animal itself. So it's almost like it's gone on to a different frequency as such. So nobody's really going to see it anymore unless you are in tune with that frequency. I know this sounds completely insane, but that's what I'm getting. So I feel, yes, at one point it was real. I feel most of them have died off. I feel there was one left. I feel it's literally moved on. I keep getting the habitat is no good anymore for it. And I feel it's almost like it's passed on, not like gone to heaven, but almost changed in frequency. So certain people that are open to it may be able to see sightings, but the rest of us, mere mortals, as I say, probably won't. And I feel that's why there's some people that swear they've seen it and others that say they haven't, because it's not in our dimension anymore as such. But yes, I do feel it was real. Do you know what? I did actually just say the word prehistoric, so I do feel it came from the dinosaurs. I wish I knew the name of the dinosaur, guys, because this is going to do my head in. This is really going to do my head in. But yeah, I feel it's moved on. I feel certain people that are in tune may still, I hear imprint. The imprint of its energy is still there, but to see it actually swimming as a living mammal and moving around, I don't feel that exists anymore. And again, there was a big change 40 years ago, and I keep seeing images of almost like these long boats and people rowing with 20 people on the boat at a time, covering the lake, scouring for this creature, and it disturbed the habitat and something it was feeding on. I do feel it was feeding on fish, by the way. I do feel it was actually feeding on fish, but there's something that's... I hear trout randomly as well. Trout. I don't even know if trout exist or not in the loch. No idea, okay? But yeah, I feel it's moved on to a kind of like a different dimension, not where we are now, and only certain people that are very open or aware to it will maybe be able to see a sighting, and it would be fleeting, and it wouldn't be something that they would probably be able to capture on camera. It would have to be with their eyes only, if that makes sense. Because I just heard the James Bond song For Your Eyes Only. So it's not going to be something that's going to be seen by masses and masses of people, like maybe it was in the past, for example. Okay, I'm going to stop there. But I don't feel it's off this earth anymore, if that makes sense. But I feel at one point it was, and it was real, and it was prehistoric. And there were 3 of them, and 2 have died off, and the other one, I keep getting the ET scene, where the skin started to go white grey, and then it almost like transformed to a different type of energy, a different dimension as such. Oh my god, do you know what? These mystery readings are going to be insane. Some of the stuff that's going to come out of this is going to be like, even for me, I'm like, what? That's what I'm getting. Bye, guys.